Oh, okay. You tell me when you show up, when you tell me. Maybe we should make those. You know, it's not here, you're my work wife, you calm down.
Hey, I call this meeting of the Perry Township Board of Trustees to order. The first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Fourth is a set of minutes for the regular session of March 6th, and look for a motion to report.
Think we can, because I wasn't present and I can't vote.
We can't do that. Well, we'll move on.
Yeah.
We'll have it at the next one. Jerome's not here. Public comment.
I got nothing.
Not sure when the garage sale is. They were waffling between two dates in May, and I meant to text Matt. I'll text him.
Whatever whenever you find out.
I know they're working with Kristen Metzel and a couple other people on it, so. And Brookside, anything? They have an Easter egg.
The Easter egg hunt's coming up, but where are we on? We've got people signed to it.
Yeah. Epcon Ravello, sorry.
It's nothing.
Anything? Okay. Zoning.
Met with Jen, she's reviewing
It's okay.
the notes Joe and I put together. One thing that we are gonna incorporate is they have new zoning for solar panels. So that will be something you send us, but it will be incorporated into the new zoning code. As you start seeing some solar panels going up.
So she has everything, you guys are just working.
They crafted it for the township, yeah, but she has everything, so it's gonna be a little bit before she has time to go through it.
I'm sorry, but she has a red line version.
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
got, okay. Waive permits for garage sales.
I'll make that motion to waive the permit fees for the 2023 garage sales in Morgan Hills and Brookside.
Second.
Vote.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
And Chief Petrosi.
In the letter is resignation letter, so I move to accept the resignation letter of zoning inspector John Petrosi effective March 9th, 2023.
Second, vote.
Yes.
Are we doing anything for Chief Petrosi?
We need to have a conversation about that. Well,
Do you remember the fight we had to just do something when he retired as
We
police?
have-
We,
If you do anything, you can't try.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Till the last minute.
Just helping out.
He's that kind of guy. He's that kind of guy.
There you go. Road superintendent.
Don't really have any updates on Aqua's water line at the Circle and Green. They picked up where they left off the week before last, today, and continue to work around the loop. There's no news on the IM cord. I've reached out today and have not heard back.
So they haven't started that up again. Still waiting on Columbus to get no approval.
Yeah, I haven't heard, one way, they were in Vegas last week. Never did get a hold of me. I tried today a couple times and didn't have any luck. I emailed about the traffic lights down, the street lights in the dip. There's a new work order. I haven't heard back from Michael. I'm assuming that he's taking care of it.
Do we have a work order number or something?
I asked him for it and he hasn't got it back with me yet.
Okay. When you get it, can you forward it on to Michelle so she knows that there's something?
The under new business, the Brookside crosswalk discussion today. Did you want to talk about that at all? Or?
So the school district asked a couple of weeks ago if we could meet to talk about a temporary school crossing there at Brookside, with the understanding that we have that Safe Routes to Schools money. That's a 25 project. They have kids that are walking all different directions, in yards and whatever. So I think temporarily what we're going to do to alleviate some of the concern is that main entrance there when the buses come in and kids want to cross there and walk in there. And so they've asked if we could paint a crossing there, a ladder crossing. We have material for that.
Yeah, across the school driveway, they requested a high vis ladder style crosswalk. We have the thermoplastic left over from when we upgraded those signs and crosswalks, Brookside more than.
And so, Mike from the county engineer is going to send you a bunch of stuff as well.
We submitted the specs the county uses for their ladder crosswalks.
And that was his recommendation.
Yeah.
That's where they go. And then I guess the school is going to buy one of those temporary signs, put in the middle of that. I'm not sure how there's going to be enough room for the buses to get out.
There's not, when we were talking temporary crosswalk sign, and I was thinking McVeigh, there wasn't enough room to put it in
There.
McVeigh, they're not, it's gonna be tight where they're gonna have to put it off to the side, maybe one or two, and
But that's on the school district.
it's on the school.
Yeah, they'll work quick. They won't fit.
Well, we knock this over, we can get it right back up.
Sure.
They're not permanent.
Okay.
And then the LAPD lighting, I just take those poll numbers down to Michael.
Okay.
He's not responded. I don't know if he's afraid, playing Mel's hat.
What department is he with?
Customer relations. He passes it on, that's.
Okay.
He's on public relations, if I remember,
About anything or just traffic?
pretty much about anything with AP.
And is that the gentleman that came in here that night? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. 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 Anything else?
That's all I have.
Jerome? Sorry, we passed right by you.
That's not getting late. Traffic,
I heard 315 is a mess.
it's always a mess.
Oh. Oh. You're up.
I'm up,
Yeah.
but I need to stand up.
Wherever you're most comfortable.
So where to start? I think everybody knows me, Chet knows me. We have other people online, Chet.
Yeah, so Jerome Scott is the chair of the Citizens Advisory Council, appointed by the Board of Trustees to address any number of topics that Board of Trustees may be looking at. And they are a recommendation board, not a decision board, but fact-finding recommendations to the Board of Trustees to ultimately make the decision.
So those of you who don't know me, I am a registered architect in several different states. I started my practice in 1998 after working for Eisman Architects on the Wexner Center for the Arts. I was the lead architect on the Columbus Convention Center, went on to work for a little Japanese architect named Kurata Isasaki into a little project called Kosai. After that, I started my own firm. We have done 4 or 5 projects in China, 1 in Saudi Arabia. I did the exterior skin for Arizona Cardinal Stadium for Mr. Eisman again. But more germane to what we're looking at for Perry Township is, I am currently the architect on renovating the Whitehall Police Station. A few years ago, we renovated the State Highway Patrol, or started to renovate the State Highway Patrol post in Ashland. We have renovated the State Highway Patrol Academy off 17th. We have done numerous ODOT projects. We're currently designing 4 ODOT outposts for the state of Ohio. Probably of the same size and scope that you guys are looking at here. We have done numerous full service maintenance facilities for ODOT. It's designed many of those prototypes, including salt storage, precast, salt storage, caissons, and so I guess just a little bit of serendipity that I live in Perry Township and help this project. So that came to me a couple weeks ago with, I guess I'll call it concept. Wanted to know my thoughts on it, and I said, Chet, look, before we look into doing this, what is the building program? What are the parameters? What are everyone's needs? You know, I need to understand that as part of the committee. We definitely want to look at building assessments on the existing buildings for code compliance, energy compliance. And so I have volunteered my services to do a building assessment on all of the buildings, including the, I'll use it loosely, salt storage facility, the cold storage facility, the truck maintenance building, the police station, and the administration building. And then I've met with each of the departments to kind of put together a program so we can understand what we might need and what are the, lack of a better word, you know, what are the tough decisions we might need to make to get things to fit. So, you know, I always like to look at this in bookends, and this is exactly what we did for the Ashland Highway Patrol Station. So the project we were working on in 2020. Very similar in size and scope to the existing police station you have here. Their budget was in 2020, $1.8 million to renovate that facility. We got through design development and they said, we are not going to spend the money, we're going to build new. So they had their, you know, every client is different, you know, but so I question whether it makes sense to renovate these buildings simply based upon that. Now, having said that, we have looked into the buildings. There exists additional information we need to really look at in terms of what is the construction classification for the Ohio Basic Building Code for these buildings. Looking at the program and the concepts, there is at least 3 or 4 different use groups that will need to be analyzed to see how they can fit within the allowable area requirements, the Ohio Basic Building Code. where we are now looking at fire separation walls. So I have started this process. We are nowhere near complete. There's initial information that we have to develop. For example, Fire Department of Transportation facilities are considered first responders by Homeland Security. They're required to meet certain requirements based upon that. Obviously, the police department is a first responder. They're required to meet certain requirements there outside of the building code. And so we have to kind of percolate through that to make sure that the existing buildings and facility can support these requirements. And that's what I'm looking at right now to put together a report. What would be the shortcomings? What would be the anticipated cost of a total new build based upon the square foot analysis from interviewing the chief of police, and transportation. You weren't there, but I met with her and got your notes, and I think it's important to look at that so you can understand what shortcomings we may need to do to fit things in the existing building. That's number one.
Hey,
Number
Jerome,
two-
I don't mean to interrupt, but you're aware that Mike Lusk has done a lot of the things that you're talking about doing.
I haven't seen any of that, Andy.
And that was the 20, so I know when you guys met and we were on the phone, the 28th was the point where Mike's actually coming to, I mean, he's already gone through all the facilities. He's met with Steve, the chief, he's met with administration, he's met with road, he's met with, I mean, we have new concept with a building that we put together. We've done rehab of both building 1, 2, and 3. He's analyzed, he's already gone through double code. I mean, he like everything that you just outlaid that you're doing, we've already done and spent money on. So I guess I'm not quite sure what, is this a second look or is it?
Well, I
Like, what do
wouldn't
we-
characterize it as a second look, Andy, because I've not seen
Right.
that information.
And that's my impression was 28th was to bring the Citizens Action Committee up to speed as to everything that's been done. I mean, we've been working on this for almost 18 months, probably 18 months, almost 2 years. So there's been a lot of work already done to do this.
I would be most interested in seeing that work.
Right.
We are making, at least, I haven't studied it. But in the latest concept version that just hit my desk an hour ago, there just seems to be a lot of shortcomings in the design that I would not expect to see.
Which concept? Because I know that those have been updated. I know the ones, the last ones that we saw are
You
probably,
just sent me an hour ago, 2 hours ago.
February 20th.
yeah, there's been updates since then.
So I haven't seen those either.
And those updates will be shared on the 28th.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Yeah,
So it's great. I look forward to seeing that.
I just don't want you to waste your time. Like, there's been a ton of time put into this thing and, you know,
Informing myself is not a waste of time.
Yeah.
Happy to do it. I feel like it's important to be done. To provide, and what I believe the committee was asked to do, which is to provide, outside objective review. So I completed it. It's just a matter of going down and documenting now.
okay.
So Jerome, is that evaluation the correct word?
Sure.
Um,
Assessment, evaluation.
is that also going to be provided on the 28th as well? I mean, is this going to be a substantial conversation to have? I mean, I'm not putting it, I don't mean to put a deadline on you. I mean, that's,
Today's the 20th.
probably not.
I will be prepared to discuss it, but I don't think
Okay.
I would have anything, formal document that I would
Okay.
like to get, to have that conversation with Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mike will be there.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, then you'll start to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good?
You don't, Andy's gonna be there, you're gonna be there.
Mhm. Yeah.
You don't, do you need Beth and I there at that point? The reason I ask that question is when two trustees are in the same place, we always have to post in that kind
Just
of.
make it a public meeting.
Yeah, I just,
Okay.
it's easy for me to post it.
Yeah, just post it.
Okay.
and make it a
However
public
you want to do it.
Okay, well, Andy needs to be there, so we'll post it. We'll cover ourselves.
Andy is gonna be getting you guys the drawings here, but next couple days
Yeah.
or so.
More important to the drawing is all the research that's been done. That's the foundation on which, the decisions were made that brought us to where we are. I'm more interested in that than, where we are.
Do you want to see because we have the existing blueprints of, we have all of the old blueprints that how these things were built, the additions, we have a lot of documentation that,
No, I'm more interested in, has anyone done a hazardous material assessment of
Mike's gone through it, so we can find out from Mike.
I'm more interested in knowing what is the exterior envelope configuration. What are the deficiencies with the exterior envelope? I'd be most interested in an analysis of the mixed use of the spaces. How they go together. Secure public zone versus secure private zone. Those would be the issues that I'd be most interested in.
Yeah, I think on the 28th, we can hit a lot of that stuff, because like I said, Mike's put a lot of time into, Lusk has put a lot of time into it, so I'm sure he can talk a lot on it.
Part of that, he has a official building program. That would be great to see also.
So do you want him to bring, everything
Actually, I would
since
love
day
it if
one?
you could send it to me earlier so I can read it and digest it and
Okay.
understand it. And maybe reach out to Mike directly.
Well, Jerome, would it be easier if you talk to Mike directly or talk to
absolutely.
Greg?
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier. That's.
I'm sending Mike an email right now.
Okay. And you'll make that happen, that way you'll have a direct conversation with him and,
Conversation.
yeah. Okay, that way you're all more prepared for the 28th, I guess.
And what is the purpose of the meeting on the 28th? It's just.
I think
you
it-
bring the remaining committee
Yes,
up to speed.
yeah, I think it's a regular scheduled meeting, correct?
Yes.
Intricate facilities. You wouldn't think so, but they are.
Would you say that, Ian? Or would you use a different word? Okay. Okay. Anything else, Jerome?
No, I'm just happy to help.
Okay.
Great,
We-
appreciate
We're
it.
happy to have
I'm
you.
volunteering.
I understand that.
It's important to the community.
I gotta back up a couple things, but first of all, is there any way we can get a no outlet sign replaced?
I thought it was.
Okay,
Shouldn't have.
let's, if we can. This is probably not the last gas leak on 315 or whatever, so. Yeah, I'm sorry, Keith, I keep forgetting, it's my fault. Did you have anything for zoning?
No, the only question I have is regarding the no permit fees for garage sales. Does that become effective today then? As of this meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry, Keith, that's just for the Civic.
Okay, that's not
Yeah.
residential.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
both of them
I'm so
have a
sorry.
1 day kind of,
They do, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a community thing.
Thank you.
Sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
so if
that was
somebody
my
wants to do
fault.
something in
That was my
September
fault.
or October or whatever, yeah, they still have to go through you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry, we didn't. we
Really
weren't
good
taking-
question. I should have given you the answer before you had to ask it.
If they want to do either a tag sale or a yard sale. If
Yeah.
they do a tag sale, we have to get a permit. And I said, well, if you're gonna have people parking,
Right,
yes, we're gonna have you get a permit, but that's the reason I asked that.
Okay.
That raises a question. So when they do a permit for that, for the police form,
That's a good question.
Not usually for like a yard sale or not.
But for a tag sale, you might.
Yeah,
wanna
tax
be-
sale,
tax sale, you might want to-
because
Go
if they're
crazy.
parking that way, we'll,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
we can have somebody in the area during that time.
So I'll make it a point then. Thanks.
Yeah, tax sale, just pass it off, if anything else we'll do.
That's it.
Okay.
chief,
Sir,
you fire an EMS?
nothing this month, or at this time.
Okay. Thank you for sending folks up there. Thank you, Lieutenant. Okay. Appreciate it. New business, cruisers.
We had a purchase request last year on our cruisers for this year. I think the cost was 89,500. I would like to approval and motion to up it to 90, not to exceed 95,000. Since last year to this year, one of the reasons is one of our sedans that we're trading in actually went down 1,800 in value. And a couple of parts and pieces through par have gone up. So I think we're gonna be probably 93,000, give or take. But if you're 95 to be safe.
I'll make that motion.
Second, vote,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you. As for motion to, in approval to extend the conditional offer of employment to Spencer Roush for a part-time position.
I'll make that motion.
Second, vote,
Yes.
After this one, we're back at full staff on both sides, so.
both part and full.
Both part and full.
Okay.
Also in the Dropbox was the, updated dispatch agreement between the Franklin County Sheriff's Office and us. I didn't know if anyone had a chance to look it over, or have any questions. Any questions at all, I'll be happy to answer.
Other than the prices going up.
Price has
and,
gone up.
it
It went from $11.80 to $15.99.
do we recall how much it was when we were with Worthington?
They didn't charge us per call. We were at around 50,000.
Yeah, it was like every quarter was somewhere around, I want to say 35, or I'm sorry, 45 to 50,000.
Yeah,
Every quarter,
I mean, it's been a
Per year,
huge
yeah.
drop, yeah,
per year.
per year.
per year.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is
Even with this,
still much cheaper than what we're paying by far.
What do you think your annual cost can be?
So
What's been the historic?
we have been traditionally under $20,000 since going into county. I think we will probably, based on calls for service, it will probably go up. If we compare it to the same as last year, it's about $6,000 increase. I looked at calls for service last year from January 1 to March 1st, and I looked at it this year. Our calls for service this year are 100 calls for service over where we were last year. So my guess is it'll go up, but 6,000 is minimum if we do exactly what we did last year. But our calls for service.
So you're already up 100.
Yes.
So if that rate continues, you're at 400 at 400 times, say 16 is sub $6,400 over last year.
Yes.
there-
Under the contract, there is a maximum of 95,000 annually as the max it would ever go. But like I said, at this point, we're still under what we were before we went to the county. So,
there's a clause in there about usage of facilities.
yes, so I apologize, I forgot. For usage of our facility by the patrol deputies, they are giving us the first 175 calls for service free when this contract takes effect, which is right around $2,800, I believe. I'm sorry, $2,798.25 for the use of our space. If they would have to need to process somebody, they can come in, they have access to our building when we're not here to be able to use, we're all in the same report system. So if they need to get on a computer, we can set up a workstation with one of ours. They can log into one of ours and use it as well. So they have use of our facility.
Will they have key fobs or?
We have a keypad on the back door.
Okay,
It's currently not working, but we're in the process trying to figure out why or get it fixed, and then we'll give them a code. They prefer to have a code instead
instead of carrying something around.
So.
Okay. This requires approval, right? Because we're.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll need your signatures.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the dispatch agreement with Franklin County.
second vote,
Yes.
yes. Mr. Roper is not here, and he wants to be here for the block camera thing. I need to look at your schedule, because this price goes up on this thing if we were to do this April 1. So,
Yeah, I mean, are we looking for the township to pay for this?
it's complicated. but-
Because it's not gonna happen before April 1st. This is a bigger discussion, like how much is it gonna go up?
How much is the block camera thing? Rob?
They go up $500.
Yeah, I mean, this is a more, like, I think this is more the civic association cost than it is. Like, they can front the cost, we use it, but I don't see this being a township expense. I really don't.
Mr. Roper he called in this afternoon when I got back, and he did give a couple potential dates this week for executive session, if you'd like to do that.
I don't think it's an executive session thing.
Oh, not executive session, special
You mean a
session.
special meeting?
I'm sorry, special meeting.
Yeah, I don't see it being a special meeting. I mean, this is not something that, like, I don't, like, this is a longer discussion than, let's hurry up and get it approved by April 1st. I mean, who's paying for it? Is it police that, I mean, are you guys gonna shoulder the cost?
Yes.
You got some work to do.
What's it?
So I'm just saying it's another expense, and we've got some work to do to cut the expense, which is the reason why I think it needs to be more just, a discussion with the civic association, or at least having their buy-in, because I don't want to go spend it and then have them say, oh, we're not on board, and then it becomes our expense. We put the money out, everything like that.
Right.
Hey, is the product good? Yeah, I think, but I don't want to push this thing through just because we're gonna, it's gonna go up $500 a camera. That's just my,
About the Worthington School.
Spoke with Jeff Collette, and they have now got their cameras up and running in the schools. We will have access pretty much any time. Jeff Collette wants to wait till, I want to have a staff meeting with our folks. He is going to probably Zoom or come to that staff meeting to kind of explain how things work with our supervisors, so that way we can determine who's going to have access when and so forth. So, but we're there.
Okay. Anything else, Chief?
That's all.
Okay, Madam Administrator.
Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and just skip down to my new business. I think the facility assessment, Jerome's. I don't need to go through that since Jerome already kind of started his conversation with that. The second thing would be the Portage Project. I guess we're gonna break this into two. The Portage
Yeah.
Project Loan Program. I went ahead and had a discussion with Julie over at the outside legal counsel's office. The better way to create this loan would be to, because it's already set up where we can shift expenses that we're paying right now from the general fund to the ARP, for example, salaries. So when I calculated it out, how much in total for the Portage project, it's $106,600. So if we just take the money for salaries for the year out of those funds, then that would free up the money in the general fund to create that loan program.
That would be our outside exposure.
Correct. Correct. At the very worst, that would be our outside exposure for that
Yeah.
particular thing. Some of the details that would need to be worked out would be the length of the project, if there's going to be any interest accumulated. But other than that, I just need to have those details, and then Julie would be ready to start working on an agreement between the township and the residents. And then we'd obviously need to bring in the county auditor's office to help us get assessments set up.
So a couple of questions. So so all of these residents have to tap in, or they have a choice. So they're in that bubble of choosing to come to the township or or annex into the city of Columbus.
Right. Well, some of those properties are already township properties.
Right.
Right. But the ones that aren't, the people I've heard back from, they detached and came back into the township. I think there's one other on Northport that has the potential to go to Columbus.
So
But then again, there also would have to be, they would be open to annexation.
So are
Yes.
all of these parcel numbers both township or like the parcel numbers I'm looking here, are they township properties or where do they?
Are they pink or blue?
Okay, I would have to go back and look at my spreadsheet to determine each one of those.
Can we do that?
Yes.
I mean,
And
we're,
then what's the process? Say they're all, is it the process of we're gonna help them, they have to tap in because of this new sewer line,
Correct.
right? So the frontage fees are the ones that are over here. And that's how much they would have to pay.
Correct.
So if they were in the city of Columbus, let's just take the first one. So it's $8,600 frontage fee. They would, if they were in the city of Columbus, they would have to pay that, right?
Well, the city, my understanding is the city's fees would be just a little bit different because we're going through the county
Okay,
for them to tap in.
so I mean, if they were in the
But they're
county,
gonna have to
they
pay
were gonna have to pay, they're gonna have to pay that amount.
Right.
So are these individuals so they are all going to have to tap in?
They all have
And
to
when,
tap in.
and what's the time frame that they're all gonna tap in?
The county's giving them 1 year.
Okay,
If they're
from-
if they're a Columbus resident, they have
get
90 days.
Okay, so, and when does that start?
The clock's already started ticking. I know. I'd have to double check with Ryan about the exact date.
So they come to us and they say, yeah, if we have an agreement with the county and they come in, they say, yeah, I want to, take what is our loan payback?
that's the question. The term, right?
The term, yeah, you'd have to, and that was my question. I would suggest 48 months. Because the worst case scenario, that would cost the resident about $333 a month. But you can look at the different options for less than that, but I wouldn't go more than 48 months.
So is this tax payment, the tax payment that we would lose if they went to the city of Columbus?
The property, yes, that's what we would lose,
So it's gonna take 8.5 years to equal,
just about that.
8.5 years to equal that. And then if we lost them,
We lose them forever.
are we gaining the tax? Because because realistically, the township's gonna have to pay out $106,000 within the next year. Is that the way I
It's the
understand it?
potential, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they're all tapping in.
If
I
they're
mean,
all
they
having to tap in,
tap
that would legit, yeah, that would make sense. But if the frontage fees, unlike the tap-in fees, which, they're not required to pay back,
Yeah,
the frontage fees and money would be coming back to us at certain point, up to, again, my guesstimate, right, 48 months at worst case scenario. If they all go to Columbus, we lose all that tax money and we have no chance of regaining it.
do we have an interest I mean, are we charging them an interest?
That was
rate?
my other question as I started to present, was that I would need that information from the board if you would want to do a low interest.
So you would need to
Or
both
not.
term and interest rate.
Correct.
What does the county and the city offer as far as term? and interest
I
rate?
didn't hear back from that. I know,
Okay.
but I'll have to get that information for you as well. But I would have to go on, make it somewhere close to what either.
To be
of the-
competitive.
To be competitive, yeah.
So, but I mean, to boil this down, this is a loan, it's not a grant.
Correct.
So if we were to outlay $106,000, that money, depending upon the term, would come back within that period of time.
Correct. The money would be assessed on.
And the property tax would be guaranteed, the
Property
tax
tax guaranteed. Yes.
revenue would be guaranteed. If we don't put that out as a loan, the taxes go away, that revenue goes away forever.
Correct.
So it's an investment in ensuring that we get that tax revenue forever. Plus, they pay it back.
They have to pay it back
And these are the only parcels that are affected.
for the Portage project. Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other parcels that could potentially be affected?
There's other parcels that have the option, like there's a few on Skyline, but they're not being
required?
forced. Yeah, they're not being
Okay.
forced to tap in.
Okay.
They have the option.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the interest rate, that, others are charging and, what the terms are.
When you get that information, can you shoot that out to the trustees? So we
Sure.
Have that, ready to pull a trigger, because I may be mistaken, but I thought the clock started the first of the year, but I may be mistaken on that date. I know the clock has already started
Yeah,
for them.
yeah. I just can't think off the top
And
of my head.
I know that the county has been a little bit more forgiving as far as when they can make this decision, because I think the county said, well, we'll give them a year. Counties or the city said, well, we only got 3 months to make it.
Right, yeah, the city was sending out notifications and they mistakenly sent some of their notifications to our residents,
Which confused them.
which was confusing to them. But
Yeah.
when I talked to Ryan Stowe, and I believe Steve Renner was on the phone at the time, the director over there, they said they've given them a year
Okay.
to tap in.
What else you got?
Let's see. Well, as we already discussed, this is Citizen Advisory Committee's meeting is March 28th at 6:30 PM here at the Township Hall. And that's all I have.
The only thing is fiscal officers, their own disbursements.
I'll make that motion.
Second, vote,
Yes.
yes. Anything else for the good of the order? No? Okay. For motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Yes.